Welcome to Our College, Your Voices. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. We are pleased to continue bringing you each month's President's Update in your podcast feed as another way for you to connect with this important communication tool at Ivy Tech. As a reminder, if you're an Ivy Tech faculty or staff member, you will be able to see the slides and script from President's Updates in My Ivy. I'd encourage you to log in. That will be on the employee dashboard in those areas. If you have any question about the episode, please feel free to reach out.
Of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness. John, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Sue. Earlier today, the Indiana State Department of Health announced the first case of COVID-19 here in Indiana. While some of the details around this case remain confidential, we did gain some valuable insights based upon what was shared. First off, the patient is in Marion County and recently returned from a business conference in Boston. After feeling sick, they self-reported to ISDH and were sent to Community North Hospital for testing. The patient is currently self-quarantined, and there is thought to be very little exposure to the general public. The case appears to be mild in nature. They are reported to have a fever and a sore throat. Governor Holcomb issued a public health state of emergency. State of emergency is an administrative tool to assist state agencies in working together and open up potential funding sources from the federal government. The public health state of emergency should not be construed as an increase in the basic risk of COVID-19 in Indiana. SARS-CoV-19, the virus that leads to COVID-19, is a respiratory illness that is transmitted similarly to the cold or flu. By taking precautions like social distancing and extra hand washing, you can decrease your risk of infection. You may have seen people avoid shaking hands by bumping elbows. This and other ways to acknowledge colleagues without shaking hands or hugging is the best practice to reduce the spread of the virus. So what does this mean for Ivy Tech? Your senior leadership team continues to actively monitor COVID-19 outbreak, both domestically and abroad. As you have seen in previous public safety advisories, the college has suspended international travel to those countries listed as Level 3 Travel Health Notice by the CDC. We will continue to assess all of our international travel as a college to determine what is the safest avenue while allowing for a great student experience. Spring break is around the corner for the college and many of us. It is important that you check with the CDC and the State Department if you plan to travel abroad. Both of these agencies keep up-to-date information on their website about travel hazards and what protocol may be in place when returning to the United States. Other countries may impose travel restrictions to the United States, so it's important to weigh this risk as you make personal travel decisions. Domestic travel within the United States remains unrestricted by the CDC. Again, state-by-state information is available on their website and was linked in our latest public safety advisory. You must make the decision that makes the most sense for you and your family when deciding to travel. Finally, we've worked with ISDH on a communications plan for if a student, faculty, or staff member tests positive for COVID-19. We will be contacted directly by ISDH and notified of any presumptive positive on our campus. At this time, all testing for COVID-19 is coordinated through ISDH, and they remain our best partner for staying informed about any suspected cases on our campuses.
Thank you, John, and your team for the work they're doing. And I want to say thank you to faculty, staff, administrators for already adhering to and continuing to read the public safety announcements, the PSAs that have been sent out. Please adhere to those and expect to continue to have those come over the coming weeks until this situation is resolved.
Absolutely.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
So let's continue today by providing an update on our McDonald's partnership. Since our statewide announcement in January, our campus teams have been working to engage the local owner-operators. This opportunity is a win-win-win. First, it's good for students because it provides them with flexible employment while supporting that cost of going to college. Second, it is good for McDonald's as it helps them attract and retain good employees. And finally, it is good for Ivy Tech because it allows us to increase enrollment and to reduce the cost of going to college for our students. So here's how the program works, as you'll see. Any McDonald's employee who is in good standing, which means they've worked for McDonald's at least 90 days and at least 15 hours per week, is eligible. If an employee meets these criteria, they can receive up to $2,500 per year to attend. If they are on the management track, that goes up to $3,000 annually. McDonald's employees apply to Ivy Tech and follow our Achieve Your Degree platform. which is all happening behind the scenes. We defer their tuition until the end of the semester, meaning those employees don't have to pay any funds up front. The employee's manager grants approval to participate, and the funding is released. Every campus has a McDonald's Archways to Opportunity lead person. Often it's the Achieve Your Degree lead or someone from the enrollment services team. The campus leads and or chancellors should approach their local owner-operators to discuss just how the program actually works. We know that McDonald's is very interested in making this program work, as are we. We are actively going out to visit McDonald's and invite the local owner-operator and managers to visit Ivy Tech. Further, we should be meeting with their employees and inviting them to be an Ivy Tech student. Our window to engage students for March start is really moving or closing in quickly, but the opportunity for summer, fall, and beyond is just endless. If you have a relationship with a local owner-operator, their crew leader or manager, make sure your chancellor knows this. Help make the introduction. Offer to go meet with the owner-operator and the chancellor or McDonald's lead from your campus, etc. Archways to Opportunity provides the win-win-win. Thanks to our teams for building the relationships with our McDonald's and helping our Hoosiers gain their education and employment. So, as you know, this legislative session is almost in the books. Statutory adjournment, as we would call it, sine die, is required to happen by March the 14th. But we are hearing that they may end sooner, as early as March 11 or 12. This week is the deadline week, which means that bills that were not heard in the Senate or the House and passed in those are considered dead. Although the language in those bills could end up somewhere else if part of that bill did pass. This is done through a process called conference committees. So let me just share a few highlights of the legislative session. First, House Bill 1007, cash funding for state educational institution capital projects. So many of us know that the Columbus project last year was funded for $29.89 million. That has now been approved and has been signed by the governor to be cash funded. The college has chosen Iwamato Scott as our design architect. You tried to say that for the Columbus project, and CSO Architects is our local architect of record. House Bill 1120, educational credit time for inmates, will provide incarcerated individuals with credit toward time served if they participate in educational programs like our Ivy Tech DOC program. This is on the governor's agenda item, and Ivy Tech was proud to support the bill. House Bill 1153 and 1419 are about the governor's workforce cabinet. The first bill requires that the governor's workforce cabinet create a strategic plan that includes K-12 education, and then a second bill which changes the composition of the governor's workforce cabinet, adding members, including some non-members to the cabinet. Some of you will remember that as president of Ivy Tech, I get to serve on that cabinet. Senate Bill 383 requires colleges and universities to report to the State Budget Committee on progress in meeting minority, women, and veteran business enterprise goals annually. While we already report these numbers in a quarterly basis to the Commission on Minority and Women Business Enterprises, we've been asked during committee presentations about our efforts to meet these goals. This annual report will hopefully provide the committee members with the information they need. I would be remiss if I did not also provide a brief update about the work of the Commission for Higher Education, which last week discussed the proposed changes to the state financial aid amount awards and changes to our performance funding formula. The financial aid changes include increases in the base award amount, which is the first time in 2 years taking the on-time award amount from $3,400 to $3,600. The incentive amounts for academic honors, those with a high GPA, as well as those students who complete an associate degree before going on to a bachelor's degree program, also is proposed to be increased. And the amounts will be effective for the 2020-2021 academic year. And with that change, assuming the commission approves the proposal, the state O'Bannon maximum amount award will virtually pay for all of Ivy Tech tuition. This means that students who receive a full state award will receive a larger refund from Pell, which they will be able to use towards their living expenses, transportation, childcare, and all those other expenses our students incur. The commission staff has also proposed allowing students with a higher expected family contribution to receive aid. These are all positive changes for Ivy Tech and most importantly for our students. The commission has also proposed some changes to the performance funding formula, which will include a bonus to institutions who achieve an overall degree completion rate of 75% or higher. The commission is open to establishing a separate overall degree completion rate to address high achieving community college rates at a later time. While this metric immediately doesn't help Ivy Tech, the next proposed change would benefit us. That proposal would be to increase the per unit value for at-risk degree completion by 25%. With this metric change, the commission is looking to address equity gaps, as are we, that remain prevalent and address the difficulty and the importance of successfully serving our at-risk students. The commission will be considering these for adoption at their meeting next week. Well, in 2013, the state of Indiana established a Promise initiative which ensured every child has a financial resources, college-bound identities, community support, and savings behaviors to help those students pursue their dreams. In 2018, Ivy Tech Fort Wayne hosted its first annual Walk Into Your Future in collaboration with DeKalb County. Kimberly I've said that wrong. Thank you.
Yep.
Of K-14 Engagement, Director of K-14 Engagement and Transition on the Fort Wayne campus, is here to help us learn more and provide some updates. Kimberly, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Elsperman. I wanted to take a moment to update the college community on Ivy Tech Fort Wayne's collaboration with DeKalb County. This partnership launched in the fall of 2018 when the DeKalb County Community Foundation brought together donors, K-12 partners, volunteers for a program aimed at providing financial matching investment for kindergarten through third graders via 529 College Choice Savings Account. The program has proven to be a resounding success and has led to thousands of students and their families to begin planning early for their future. This year, the DeKalb County Community Foundation has taken the bold step to extend its programming to include all students from preschool to 12th grade. The community has pledged an initial match of $25 for every student living in DeKalb County who establishes a 529 savings plan. It is about giving students the expectation that they will keep learning after high school, and the feeling that they have the financial support to do so and accomplish this goal. This strategic move promises students and families a collaborative environment as they seek financial resources, a connection with K-14 credential attainment, and the support of community champions. This photo shows just a few of the donors, community leaders, and educational partners who have collaborated on this project. A large part of the Promise program is the annual Walk Into My Future event for grades K through 3. DeKalb County's walk has been identified as one of the most successful in the state, offering 2,000 plus kindergarten through third grade students from 8 participating elementary schools a wide range of hands-on educational and career experiences. The walk has grown to offer 46 hands-on stations involving 17 DeKalb County career hosts and over 150 members of Ivy Tech faculty, staff, and students. The engagement activity incorporates a STEM focus ranging from manufacturing, robotics, automotive, technology, agriculture, education, and health and human services. The DeKalb County Career Host's objective is to connect their industry to the skill, training, and an educational pathway. The walk is only the first step in a larger conversation. The buzz continues long after their visit and is reinforced in the classroom activities. They also discuss with their parents, siblings, and extended family members. During this past fall event, we also provided each student a small piggy bank to encourage students to make an investment in themselves and to remind them of their Ivy Tech experience. Ivy Tech will be hosting its third annual Walk Into My Future event this fall. We're proud to have played a small part in setting the foundation of children on their education pathways. We are excited once again to partner with the DeKalb County, as this partnership has ignited a feeling of hope for students to dream big by investing in their future.
Thank you, Kimberly and Chancellor Mosier, for your leadership in providing hope for a really bright future by investing in our DeKalb County students. Thank you. Well, in January, we announced the rebranding of the college's work in wraparound services as the Ivy Cares Department. While many campuses have multiple services that encompass their Ivy Cares offices, at a minimum, these departments offer resources to students in the areas of mental health, food insecurity, emergency funds, and transportation. To assist students facing transportation barriers, the college has entered into a very special partnership with Uber. And I have asked Dom Chase, Vice President of Finance, to provide us with an update. Welcome, Dom.
Thank you, Dr. Ellspermann. For many students, regardless of whether they're in a rural or more urban setting, transportation can be a significant barrier. This partnership with Uber is designed to help students experiencing these barriers access college funds to help facilitate their transportation to and from campus. Initial funding has been allocated to campuses for use during a pilot period lasting throughout the 2020 calendar year. In order to be eligible for this resource, students must first meet with an Ivy Cares staff member to assess their needs and discuss transportation options the campus and community offer. If Uber best meets the needs of the student, the Ivy Cares staff person will complete an intake form with the student and set up the student's Uber account. Campuses have the ability to set controls based on the student's needs and monitor usage. If a student has an emergency transportation situation, rides can be set up in the moment for a student to get home or to a safe location. The student can then follow up with an Ivy Cares staff member if the need is longer term. The Uber platform even allows flexibility for students who may not have a form of payment or a smartphone, making this a usable option for many of our students. To communicate the resource to students, messaging has been sent to first make them aware of the existence of Ivy Cares offices on their campuses. This messaging connects students to the new Ivy Cares webpage, which is ivytech.edu/ivycares. The Ivy Cares webpage gives students details about services offered by each of the campuses. It also provides them with contact information of staff across the state. Student persistence and completion will be tracked throughout the pilot period to assess the effectiveness of the program. In closing, a big thank you to our partners at Uber and the campus and systems office staff who have helped get this initiative off the ground.
Thank you, Dom. This really is a special opportunity. I know we're one of the first in the country to try to provide this kind of aid to our students. So thanks for the update, and we look forward to hearing how it's going later in the spring and further into the partnership.
Thank you.
Well, our K-14 initiatives are also important to both our success as a college and as a state by providing our young people with access to Ivy Tech through dual credit and dual enrollment opportunities and early college pathways to completion. K-14 programming allows for a seamless pipeline into the workforce or stacking credentials earned into further post-secondary education. So I've invited today our Vice President of K-14 Initiatives, Dr. Rebecca Ray Schulte, to talk today about her K-14 team and the focus of their work. So welcome, Rebecca.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ellspermann, for the opportunity to be here today. It's my honor to serve as the Vice President of K-14 Initiatives, but most importantly, to work with an amazing team of K-14 professionals, both in systems office and throughout the state. Dr. Paula Burt serves as the Assistant Vice President of K-14 Initiatives and ASAP, and she supports K-14 directors and teams at the 9 northern Ivy Tech campuses, in addition to supporting ASAP statewide. And the newest addition to our systems office team is Cassandra Shipp, and Cassandra is our Assistant Vice President of K-14 Initiatives and Statewide Partnerships, and she supports our 9 southern Ivy Tech campuses, including Indianapolis and those campuses south of Indy. She comes to the college with over 20 years experience in K-12, having worked in curriculum and instruction within Muncie Community Schools, as well as working in administration in Indianapolis Public Schools. And I would be remiss if I failed to mention our K-14 campus teams who are working daily to provide post-secondary educational opportunities to high school students and exposing them to the academic and student success tools available at Ivy Tech while creating a sense of belonging.
Well, could you, Rebecca, share a little bit more about the size, the scope, and the impact of the K-14 programming here?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ivy Tech Community College serves nearly 61,000 high school students annually through our dual credit and dual enrollment programming. And we do this by working collaboratively with over 425 high schools and career centers throughout the state in order to co-deliver that programming. In January of 2019, the Commission for Higher Education, they released an early college credit report that examined dual credit and AP credit in the state of Indiana and the impact of earning college credits while in high school. And their study found that high school students who earn college credit, they're more likely to go to college, they're more likely to succeed in college, and they're more likely to graduate on time or even early. And in addition to these positive outcomes, there are meaningful cost savings for students and their families. So according to this report, students who participate in early college experiences in Indiana, they save an average of $1,600 per student over the course of their post-secondary education.
Wow, that's terrific. Your K-14 Systems Office team, along with a wide support system of individuals throughout the state, are embarking on an important initiative. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So the college is seeking accreditation of our dual credit programming through the National Alliance of Concurrent Enrollment Partnerships, or also known as NACEP. And our dual credit programming is currently accredited. It's accredited through the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. They have provided that accreditation since the early 2000s. The commission originally agreed to serve as the accrediting body on a temporary basis, while NACEP was developing their infrastructure that would allow them to accredit an institution of our size and scope. We are currently in the self-study phase of NACEP accreditation, which allows the college the opportunity to review our dual credit practices and to engage in some change initiatives that will allow for increased statewide consistency and also better alignment of our dual credit efforts with those of our on-campus efforts. So NACEP will be reviewing our success across 6 categories of standards. So the first category is partnership standards. So NACEP will ensure that our dual credit programming is aligned with the mission of the institution, and they will validate that we are working collaboratively with secondary school partners. They will be looking at faculty standards, and NACEP will confirm the qualifications of our dual credit faculty. They will ensure that we provide sufficient onboarding to those faculty and orientation for new dual credit instructors, along with appropriate annual professional development, and ensure that there is faculty adherence to program policies and procedures. They will be reviewing our assessment standards. NACEP will validate our use of comparable grading standards and assessment methods between dual credit and on-campus courses. Curriculum standards. NACEP will assure that our dual credit and on-campus courses align in regard to catalog descriptions, so course numbers, course titles, and course credits. They'll be looking for alignment of our learning objectives and that annual site visits are occurring, that they're conducted, and that there is observation of course content and delivery and affirmation of equivalency. They will be looking at student standards. NACEP will ensure that the college is registering students and transcripting courses consistent with our on-campus practices, and they will ensure that prerequisites are met and that students are advised about the benefits and implications of taking college courses while in high school, as well as ensuring that dual credit students have access to learning resources and student support services. And the final category is evaluation standards. So NACEP will confirm that we conduct end-of-term student course evaluations and provide feedback to dual credit teachers. They will ensure that the college engages in continuous quality improvement through self-evaluation methods. So throughout our self-study, we will continue making policy and procedural changes to ensure strong alignment with our NACEP standards. And then we will spend the 2020-2021 academic year collecting the evidence that we need to submit a successful application in July 2021. We are seeking additional volunteers and who can help to support our accreditation efforts. So if you are interested in serving on a NACEP accreditation committee, please reach out to myself or Dr. Paula Burt or Cassandra Shipp. And we really just want to thank you for your ongoing support of K-14 programming.
Rebecca, thank you for joining us and for giving us an overview of that NACEP accreditation. And you heard the invitation to volunteer. So I encourage some of our faculty and staff who this is an area that you can contribute, please consider that. This will be a heavy lift for the college as well. So thanks to you, your team, and all of our K-14 teams and faculty across the state for the work that will be coming over the next year and a half. It's important work.
Thank you, Dr.
All right. So we are going to have, as we always do, a closing guest, and that is one of our chancellors, one of our newer chancellors, Dr. Stacy Atkinson, our Richmond campus chancellor. Stacy, welcome. Please, would you, for those who don't know you yet, would you tell more about yourself and your campus?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Sue. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and have the best childhood experiences growing up in a really big city. I attempted college twice, once at a private college that cost my parents a fortune, and then at a community college, and I successfully flunked out of both. Following those not so great life choices, I decided to join the military and do believe that my life started when I raised my right hand and joined the United States Marine Corps. I served honorably for 5 years and worked on the cockpit gear for F-18 fighter jets. While on active duty, I earned a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees and began teaching 2nd grade immediately following my discharge. I worked as an early childhood adjunct at a local community college in South Carolina and later became the program chair for the early childhood program at the Technical College of the Lowcountry, where there is still a piece of my heart. Upon relocation to the Indianapolis area, I began working for Ivy Tech and was part of the instructional design team and finished my PhD in adult learning and development. When President Ellspermann came on board, I moved to the strategic initiatives team and served there until I made the decision that campus life was for me. I planted my roots on the one and only Richmond campus. It was my honor to serve as their Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Acting Chancellor, and now their Chancellor. Ivy Tech Richmond serves Wayne, Randolph, Fayette, Rush, and Union counties, with sites located in Connorsville and Rushville. Excluding the populations we reach in Ohio, our service area describes over 130,000 people, with key industries in health sciences, manufacturing, and agriculture. Our communities are philanthropic, hardworking, and engaged with growing social scenes in some of our city's most historic neighborhoods. Our service area has an elaborate history with recorded jazz, with the Whitewater Canal, and with higher education. But more importantly, our service area has a rich future, one that builds off the work we do at Ivy Tech Richmond. Our community recognizes us as a bright light, which is a testament to the work our amazing faculty and staff do each and every day. Richmond's strong connection between departments makes Ivy Tech Richmond a place of opportunity for our student body. Plus, our amazing faculty and staff care deeply about our students and their success, and they work towards solutions for each student on their path to a high-value credential. We really love our students in Richmond, but we also really love each other. Our campus engages repeatedly with simplex processes, and we are always seeking ways to improve and explore untapped opportunities. It's a combination of the place, the people, and the work that makes Ivy Tech Richmond a unique environment and a successful unit. Ivy Tech Richmond never skips a beat and is always ready to engage with the college's mission and goals. One of the things I am most proud of is our advancement of 8-week courses. Over 75% of the courses we offer at Ivy Tech Richmond are offered in an 8-week option. We see our 8-week classes being very successful, with 2 out of 3 of our students earning a grade of B or higher in the past academic year. I'm also really proud of our innovative funds, which have helped support many initiatives on campus that were identified and led by our faculty and staff. Our employees really know how to identify potential and opportunities, and our innovative fund is one way that we've been able to support that. Additionally, we're expanding into our communities in ways we have not done in recent years, offering introductory courses in economically disadvantaged neighborhoods, and gaining traction in area high schools with our hard-working College Connection coaches. These are just 2 ways we've started rooting more deeply into our communities. I'm excited to see how our campus will continue to grow and look forward to our 2020 to 2021 academic year.
Thank you. Thank you, Stacy. That's so good to hear from you and the great things that the Richmond campus are doing. Now, I'm going to give them credit. That Ivy Cares, I believe that was yours. And
they would appreciate that.
We took that statewide. But as all of our campuses, thank you for contributing at such a high level and to the faculty staff at the Richmond campus.
They're wonderful.
They are pretty amazing. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, we're to the end of another President's Update. So as a reminder, we have adjusted our 2020 calendar for the President's Update. Please mark your calendar for our next update on Friday, June 5th, starting at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. I want to thank you for joining us today. And please, as a reminder to the start of our President's Update, please be mindful of the information that was shared earlier about keeping yourself healthy by practicing good hand washing, maybe even elbow bumps instead of handshakes, and being mindful of those interactions with colleagues and others. With that, have a great weekend and a wonderful spring break.
I am your host, Kara Monroe. You can connect with me on Twitter at KNM Tweets. You can reach us by email at ourcollegeyourvoices@ivytech.edu with show ideas or comments about any episode. Don't forget, you can always leave us a voicemail at 317-572-5049. Again, that number is 317-572-5049. Our website is ivytech.edu/podcast. Production assistance for this and every episode provided by Becky Campbell, Sarah Ferguson, and the Ivy Tech Community College marketing team. And our podcast concept is by Matthew Pittman. Theme music, recording, and post-production services provided by the amazing Jen Edds at the Brassy Broadcasting Company. And we will talk to you next time on Our College, Your Voices.